Well, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Adil Mateen, and with my education, I'm done my economics as a graduation, and then I did my master's in mass communication. But my focus is always on the economics and the business. In Dubai, recently we have started the VTEL Blockchain Incubation Center, and in collaboration with Dubai Knowledge and KHTA, we run a lot of educational courses in blockchain and decentralized finance. So that's the reason I am here. This is my small introduction, and I would like my guest to introduce yourself with your own words and own understanding. Dr. Sahitya, first.
Thank you, Mr. Adil, and good afternoon to everyone. Very intellectual sessions we are enjoying from last 2 days. Yeah, my subject was to introduce myself. I went a bit emotional with the finance thing. I'm a chartered accountant from India, also a chartered accountant from England and Wales. I did my Islamic finance certification from SEMA and PhD from USA. I run my practice as money monitor, which is in India, UAE, and the UK. In Middle East region, I had a business federation, which Global Business Federation. We are having across the globe at many countries in Europe, in Asia, as well as in India, our offices and our associates. And more precisely, representing Indian business and professionals in UAE, I am convener for retail, small and large enterprises under the auspices of Dubai Chamber of Commerce with Indian Business and Professional Council. My name is Sahitya. In my own words, as Mr. Adil said, Sahitya means literature. So that's how you can say in the lighter note. Though I am in finance, but the name associated is with literature. Thank you.
Mr. Khalifa.
My name is Mohammed Khalifa. I have a very diverse background. My education, I'm a graduate in mechanical engineering. I did my bachelor's in Holland, master's in US. I've worked inside of UAE, outside of UAE. I've worked with a lot of different diverse companies. My last 9-to-5 job was as a vice president for DIFC. Currently, I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own businesses, which I'm into oil and gas, finance, cryptocurrency, blockchain, information technology. I've done a lot of certifications in finance, like CPA, CIA, CFA. I'm also an ACII in insurance industry. I've led a lot of multinational corporates, conglomerate companies, a board member on 4 major companies in UAE and Saudi Arabia. Also an advisor to 2 of the major UAE companies, to the chairmen of these companies in this region. My background, I've been into diverse, I've started with as an officer, went through mechanical engineering, working in Europe, America, China, Japan, South Africa. Came back to UAE, worked with the financial industry. I worked with Citibank, Barclays Bank, Commercial Bank of Dubai, Commercial Bank International. I've led a senior position with AIG in MENA. And my last job was, as I said, being a vice president with DIFC in business development. The diverse itself, it has given me a lot of experience to have an insight how the businesses are being run, what are the fears, derivatives, ambitions of business owners, family business-owned industries.
Well, thank you so much. So as we all know that we are entering into the era of blockchain, let me give you a small brief about how blockchain and decentralized finance are associated and related and integrated to each other. We all know that in 2011, German government initiative of Industry 4.0 came into existence, and later in 2015, United Nations has integrated their agendas along with the Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 is nothing but cyber physical system, robotics, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and everything. All these technologies are very much in a centralized manner, like somebody is owning the server. And the issue was, the challenge that the world was facing, that if the 100% implementation of cyber physical system, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, then who will own these servers? And these server means data and the finance and the record of money that we are having. Accordingly, a new concept, which is not blockchain, people think it's a very new concept, but which is not. It's almost a 2 decade where the concept of ledger and the blockchain was started. But now the significance of blockchain came into existence, where we want a decentralized system so that our data should be actually secured. Our finances, our ledgers, our transfer should be 100% secure in a decentralized environment where nobody should own these servers. So the concept of decentralization and decentralized finance came into existence. When we talk about decentralized finance, it means in the centralized finance systems, as we all know, when we transfer money through the Visa or MasterCard, you have to pay some charges to the bank, to the organization in between. In a decentralized system, we are removing the mediator from the buyer and the consumer. So my first question is with Mr. Sahitya, being you from the CFO's perspective, you are doing the practice in industry since last more than 2 decades. Do you think this decentralized finance and the blockchain is a new challenge? It's difficult for people like you who have been practicing since two decades, and now there's something new for you?
So it is the aura of coins today, that whatever the cryptocurrency we say, the coin, and it is a proverb that the coin has the 2 sides. If we look into the other, one side is the opportunity, other side is the challenge or the limitation. Since last 2 decades, the cryptocurrency, the blockchain technology, now one side is the 2 decade, other side are the 2 years. If we see the valuation, that total value blocked, TVC, of decentralized finance, just to go back 2 years, it was 400 million USD, and now it is 172 billion USD. So definitely there is a big potential. The people are using that. And as just you mentioned that the ledgers started 2 decades back, I would like to add that ledgers started the hundreds of years back, but the 2 decades back, those ledgers were secured ledgers. And now, moving forward from those secured ledgers, the smart contracts which are made for the decentralized finance, yes, there are the challenges, but we all are welcoming that. It's very interesting. It is well secured. Challenges, when we are used to the conventionally that the intermediaries were giving us a security, a safe ground or the safe haven, that we are well, our money, the transactions, what we are doing, our data is secured. Now the blockchain is replacing those things. And as the time will move, because the decentralized finance from the centralized technology of the crypto, now just moving from last 3-4 years, and very precisely in last 2 years, I think the time will tell. The challenges as a chartered accountant, or as from the eyes of the auditor, if I look into, is more of one side, it blocks the money, because the collateralization, the over collateralization is skepticism from the finance side. Secondly, the compounding of the smart contracts, because decentralized finance goes from one protocol to other protocol, and you can mix and you can come out with a absolutely new or new identity of the protocol. So that is where, when the market moves bullish, is benefiting. When the market sentiment goes bearish, it becomes difficult to gauge the profitability change in that scenario. So there are several aspects from the compliances part and from the confidence that whether it is safe or secured. I think the public, the professionals, the consumers are accepting that. And that proves by data, not by just opinion. 400 million, whereas the 172 billion USD.
Yes, rightly said. Mr. Khalifa, I would like to know from you, you being from the CFO side as well as now you are blockchain expert. Do you think removing the mediator and going towards the decentralized finance, who will take the ownership of this transaction? How much this is safe, or how technically this is safe to use the decentralized finance, regulatory-wise?
Let me start with an old saying where they say the computer is as smart as its own operator. Today, the blockchain is a necessity, has become a base for a lot of governments, companies, industries, where they're using the blockchain in the various ways of communicating, secure transfer of data. Is it secure? I definitely agree. How is it being established, designed, set up? That's a totally different story. So it depends on the need of the service or the activity that you want to carry it out for the blockchain itself. The systems are being created on that. Today we see a lot of centralized blockchain systems on the market. We can see the Ethereum, we can see mostly they're named by the cryptocurrencies that has come, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNP, we can so going on. If you take a look at them, how secure they are, it depends on the volatility of the creators and how they are regulated. So regulation is very important for that. What kind of securities do they provide? What kind of governance they are putting on it? And how much they are close, or the licensing authorities are accepted internationally. That's why we see there's a lot of resistance from different governments, jurisdictions, toward blockchain itself to be used. There are two ways to look at it. It's similar to looking at a glass being half full or half empty. Me being a positive person, I think blockchain is a necessity for our life. We can see today a lot of fast-moving governments, especially the economic governments of, if you take an example of United Arab Emirates, there is a Minister of Artificial Intelligence. We have got now licensings and regulations for blockchain. We see that NFT right now, we are the only country in the world that we've got two types of licensings for NFT from a commodities. And this is the strange thing, from a commodity licensing authority that gives you from establishing the NFT and brokerage for the NFT itself. That means the managing of the platform. It doesn't even go nearby having the what you call the blockchain platform itself, but you're building it up on another platform. Why the NFT itself? Because the government saw there is value in metaverse. If we take one of the biggest industrial names today, Facebook, they have moved to blockchain. They have changed the name into Meta, and they are adapting the metaverse world because this is the future. If we go to the 80s movies, 90s movies, I always say Hollywood is giving you a sneak peek for the future. So if you see the movie today, believe it, after 20 years it's going to be the same thing. Today, in centralized finance, there's a lot of restrictions. There's a lot of borders. There's a lot of don'ts. I'm not going to say do's, because the do's are always disappearing. The banks, financial institutes, the SWIFT system, if we take a look at it, what happened in Russia and Ukraine, and how Europe and the US have backed out of their promises toward the what you call foreign capitals and reserves in Europe and US. It has created an unconscious market for the cryptocurrency and the blockchain. We can see a lot of governments are moving towards having their own cryptocurrency, which is the CBDC, which is based on their own blockchain. They are creating their own blockchain. And United Arab Emirates will not be left behind. We are expecting by next year that there will be the Gulf coin from Central Bank of UAE will be issued very soon. Right now they're looking at the regulations between Saudi Arabia and UAE. The intention for this coin was for the traders between the cross-border transactions of finance. So decentralized finance is becoming more important, and we don't look at the people. Forget about those who want like to transfer $1 million from one country to another on a mobile, but we're talking about governments now.
Rightly said. As you said, this is a necessity, whether you like it or you don't like it. We have to enter into this era of blockchain. Dr. Sahiti, I would like to know from you, you being now a very senior professional in this industry, and we have seen that youngsters, newcomers are entering into blockchain and finance. So do you think, or maybe my survey is wrong, that a very senior CFOs are hesitant to adopt this technology?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And this is not a matter of hesitation. It's a matter of responsibility. When the senior CFOs are the running a significant value amount and they are responsible, as one of the presentation I was listening that, it is that the person should bear the shoes of businessman. Right? So once the role of CFOs comes, now here we can see ACCA is here, the universities are there, CPA, CIMA, those institutes are, academies are here. In this situation, one side is the youngest young generation's approach. Other side, I remember, I recollected that 3-4 years back when we internally, we were discussing that few of the CFOs were there, and in the context of Dubai itself, pre-COVID situation, when Bitcoin, can we pay the custom duty in Bitcoins? What is the intrinsic value of that? That is the first question comes. And the answer, we don't have. This is the fact. What is the intrinsic value? But what the counter answer comes, that what is the intrinsic value for USD? And that is where, but it is not a way of justifying something that if we don't have one intrinsic value, we should compare that what else is having the intrinsic value. But at least we know that what the value, the banking system, entire banking system working on the fiat currency, the conventional currency. Whether you do it digitally or you exchange the cash, that's the secondary part. So it is a system, the civilization started that thousands of years ago, and the blockchain technology which has come out from the digitalizations, the arithmetics, which is a well secured, the path is clear. There is no second thought whether we like or don't like, we have to like, and we are liking it. That is there, but the use has to come slowly and gradually. Now more and more it is in the personal uses, and the absolute use in the business and liquidity is yet to come. This is what I feel.
Exactly, very well said. So do you want to upgrade yourself in the blockchain as in learning as a curriculum or with a Google search?
I say Google Guru, because the Guru is a very famous word nowadays. So I say it's Google Guru. But for the audience, I will like to say my professor is here. So
thank you so much.
So Mr. Adil, the Professor Adil Martin is the professor, and I'm really learning. Initially, yes, with some of the books, some of the materials, it was a good learning process. Now our institutes are also time to time are conducting the seminars, the professional courses for that, even professional knowledge sessions for that. But I think we have to study it thoroughly. And not only I, when I talk myself, the senior CFOs, the finance professionals have to learn, and they are serious to learn that.
Well, thank you. Mr. Khalifa, as you've been into government and all the regulations, how far do you see that the fiat money will totally absolute from the market, or it will remain? First part. Second part, does it going to change the working of a CFO in their regular or the conventional style will totally change, or it's just a transformation to a new technology?
Well, the cryptocurrency is here to stay. There is no doubt about it. Today, countries have adapted the cryptocurrency in order to stable their own currencies, and they've started accepting payments against of their exports. If we take Venezuela as a country, they've started accepting USDT, Ethereum, and Bitcoin as payments for their oil exportations. Going back to the regulations, the governments are understanding and they are seeing that there is a need to regulate this sector because the trading has become more, a lot of audience it has been attacked, and it's being used on a daily to day businesses. Example, just going back to my co-speaker, can you pay a custom? This question in 2019, I would have said, yeah, it's difficult. But today I can tell you which Dubai governments are accepting through, of course, a mediator or a third party, the payments of the government fees through cryptocurrency, which is being done right now. So this has generated the need from the regulators to issue licenses in order to put some regulations, some order to this kind of business. For the second part of the business, is fiat going to go or not? Fiat is definitely going to stay. It's not going to leave. It's a national. How can I say, identity for each country. If we take a look at the central banks of the world, anywhere in the world, if you want to transfer a single currency from an X country without naming them, you have to go to the the nationality of that currency's central bank, and then it'll go to the third country that you have been transferring to. Let's say, for example, if I'm transferring $1,000, it has to go to US, and from US will go to any country that I'm transferring. If I'm transferring dirham, same thing it is happening. Today we see that one of the Russian banks today declared that they have adapted the dirham as their foreign, as a trading currency for them. But this is a cash trading, but this is the beginning that we are seeing that. So, is the fiat going to go? Definitely not. And if I put where the cryptocurrency will go alongside with the fiat for the coming 10 years. But after that, it depends on how blockchain is going to be accepted, adapted by different central banks, not just countries, central banks. That will be a challenge that's coming, especially with the developments and the evolving of the blockchain, how fast it's going. Today we are looking at Internet 3, Web 3, we are looking at it, so it's a completely different things. And if we go 10 years back, the Internet for us was like the analog systems. And in finance industry, the continuity of this is my opinion, of course, with all respect to all opinions. If the CFOs today or the finance industry do not understand and try to embrace the future, they will be obsolete very soon.
So are we in a transformation period, or we are near to the transformation?
We are definitely in a transformation period. That's why we see that the age of life expectancies of the age of the people are being reduced to the early 30s now. Like if you take a look at the accountants and all, they're very young people. People like us, we are expired now.
Thank you. You recognize us as young, so, that's the good thing. It's the good lead.
It is because of the understanding of the new generation of the technologies. They are combining the technologies that they are growing up with the knowledge that they're learning in the institutes. And that's why you see that the younger generation is innovative in the world of blockchain overall than the the older generations.
Very well said. Dr. Sahitya, I would like like, this is not a question. Before we start a question answer session, I would like you to say what is the challenge you are facing, or what is your thought that you want to say to the public. Okay, this is, for me, blockchain is this.
See, the challenge, if you say, the challenge is the knowledge gap. That is first thing. The facility is what we are getting. Now, there is no centralized regulation system. Facility is what we are getting in UAE, thanks to the government, thanks to the institutions who are working hard, the professionals bringing it together, and all the neighbor countries. But collectively, if we see, is that collective rules and regulations where we can say that this is what is the financial law. Now the economy is not just related to the big five or the major economies. Economy is transforming as a global economy, and more precisely, we can say that it is a digital economy. As long as blockchain's position in that economy, if I say, people are used to mention that it is an emerging technology, emerging economy, but in my opinion, it is not emerging. And it's not new also, but it is a frontier. It is at the forefront of the economy. Whatever is the area, whether it is a medical, education, shipping, logistics, finance, investments, your derivatives, the equity, the merchant banking, whatever area you take it, everywhere the digitalization is going to come. We don't know whether it will be in the same form and formats of what the cryptocurrencies we are seeing, but the wider context of the blockchain has to be considered, because blockchain is not just limited with cryptocurrency or the digital currency. It has a wider sense, it has a very wider meaning, wider scope, whatever I could learn and understand from that.
Well said. Mr. Khalifa, a very direct and a technical question. For example, in a decentralized financial system, I am sitting in India, transferring $100 to you in Dubai. You are receiving as $100. There's no bank involved in between, no financial institution in between. What is the guarantee of my money being transferred to you?
This is the beauty of the blockchain, actually, because anything is based on blockchain, you cannot interrupt. So when you're saying I'm transferring it to you, let's say if it's a hot wallet or let's say an exchange wallet. So depending on what blockchain you are transferring it, this is how trustworthy it is or not. Let's say, for example, today I'm transferring on the Binance Exchange platform. It's definitely trusted. Is it going to close? There is always 1% chance for everything. Today, Binance is connected to a lot of countries. They have got a lot of licenses. Let's say, for example, Bahrain, they've got from central bank. In UAE, they've got multiple approvals, in principle approvals, but has not been activated licenses. So, of course, I can trust it. And once I have it on my Binance wallet, I got it. There are also, of course, there are other ones. There are like cold storages where they can use, or there are also the conventional way, or let's say the hiding way, I call it, the ledgers, digital ledgers, where they can have the cryptocurrencies on that one. I can have it on a USB, put it in my pocket, go wherever I want, or even my mobile. There are plenty of, there is no shortage of blockchain platforms to transfer. How trustworthy it is, my advice is always go for the big fours, big companies. Go to like exchanges who have got the proper licensings, who are regulated. Even today, if we take a look at the banking industry, if I have a funny bank somewhere in the world to transfer the money for me, the major banks will not accept that. They will say, I don't know who you are. If I go to the financial instruments, in Dubai we see that a lot of companies that they're claiming of issuing an LC. Yes, the LC is issued, but is it cash backed? No. That's why you see in a lot of the, what you call commercial contracts, or that they are insisting to be issued from an A category bank. That means if they issue a paper, which is a promise that I will pay you, let's say a letter of guarantee or a letter of credit, it's a promise from a bank stating that I will pay on his behalf on these terms.
Exactly. The question is, so when I am satisfied that, okay, my money is being transferred to you, but there is no government involved.
Yes.
So what is the role of a government? The government should not be aware about what we are doing?
Actually, I am for the government needs to be involved in this way. Why? In order to avoid for the, what you call, extortion, theft, usage of this cryptocurrency in illegal financing. Unfortunately, we don't see an active government enrollment in that one. Dubai, and I'm saying Dubai, not UAE, Dubai has, in February, has issued a new law to establish a new authority, which is VARA, Virtual Regulatory Authority, under Dubai World Trade Center. The law is very complete, and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid has signed it. And we are eagerly waiting for this law to see the light and see the licensing from those companies. Once companies are licensed through a regulated like that, with the laws over there, we can see the responsibilities and the assurance for those transfers and guarantees. Transferring between two clients, it is guaranteed 100% it will happen, but on a proper trusted blockchain. But is it 100% legal? That's a totally different story that has another conversation behind it.
That we are still on the phase of transformation. So we would like to continue this session, but since we have a question and answer session, anybody would like to ask question, any technical, legal, operational, regulatory, you are most welcome to ask.
Hello, good evening, gentlemen. Agreed. Blockchain is, we can use it in our day-to-day lives. We're getting into it. Cryptocurrencies being, common, and a lot of trading is happening. As experts in this field, how are we going to tackle the volatility of cryptocurrency? I mean, in fiat currencies, we see a few fiat currencies going volatile. But in crypto, look at blockchain where it was 1 year ago, look at it today and where it was, anticipated to be. That huge volatility, I think it's not giving the utility of the cryptocurrency soon to be launched in retail or in common day life. So as experts, where do you see this is going to be tackled, how it will be used as stable, coin or trade form, a form of trade in the near future or whenever?
So this is my field, actually. See, in cryptocurrency world, we have got more than 18,000 coins right now in the market being traded, and every day we hear another coin coming out. This is excluding the NFTs. So we have got the favorable coins, and then we have the what you call stable coins. Stable coins are very simple. The prices are fixed to the dollar, or a currency of a country. An example is USDT, USDC, which is backed with the dollar itself. We see a big, a very trustworthy white paper behind it where the cash is being deposited in a bank, secure. So that means there is something backing that coin. Then we have the favorable coins like Bitcoin. People like that one. This is because of the price is very high for the repatriation of the coin itself. The volatility of the market itself, it's a market derivative that is going. You have to take a step back. Cryptocurrency is not something new that has come, or it's an innovated finance structure that's come. It's simple. It's very simple. It's based on structure notes. It's on shares. It's offer and demand. You got to take a look at the commodities and take a look at the company shares. If you go back to Forex, go to back stock exchanges, go back to the structure notes, how the investments are doing, the pegging, hedging, all of that still is being done on the cryptocurrency. Today, the people are saying that in the past 2 days, example, Bitcoin has fallen, it has reached, and even some of the international news agencies, they're jumping on it and saying that, you see, it has dropped below 18. So what is the derivative behind that? Why these agencies are going? This is because they do not understand how this, this market is moving. Today, there is a huge market for arbitration, for cryptocurrency. And we see a lot of cash or fiats are being transferred to that. It's being slowly regulated. It's being used for the payments, but it is unsafe or ununderstandable, if I might use the word. If you can say you want to stable a cryptocurrency market, my question will be back, how can you stable a stock exchange market? This is not possible because this is a trading, this is something is going on back. This is not something that is related to a central bank, which is an identity of a country, which if a failure of that country, it drops the currency itself, or because of political positioning or political situations around the world would happen. I can give you an example, which is Turkey, which within 1 week lost 50% of its value against major currencies. Today, we see the euro has dropped its prices against the dollar, has become cheaper than the dollar, and it has gone back to the 2003 prices and less. Pound, the JPP has dropped below the prices that were in 1985. This is just yesterday. So when you ask me the question of the volatility of the market, it will always be there. It depends always on dump and pump. Somebody will be buying big quantities, prices will go up. There is huge demand on it, prices will go up. Suddenly somebody sells huge quantities, example Luna, 200 million got lost. It went into a tsunami, it couldn't recover from it. They had to cancel it and issue another cryptocurrency against it, because it drained all of their Bitcoin, which was backing it up. My advice will be always, before you invest in a coin, if it's an ICO or an STO, depending on type of the coin that's issued, read the white paper. Does it make logic? Does it make sense? Does it work with the normal financial structurings? It's the same. When you invest in crypto, cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and those, if you ask me, I want to short invest, I'll tell you, of course, you need to be an active, arbitrator at the same time on the platform. So you will be making small percentages, fractions of that, like 10 pips, 15 pips, 20 pips. You're happy with that because you've got big quantities or big investment in that. You make your money. It's the same thing with the cryptocurrency. But if you want to go for a long term, that is a safe investment. But you need to go for favorable coins, not the new ones that are coming. The new ones, it's an experimental. Read the white paper, you'll understand it. It doesn't make sense. It's like investing in a structured note or like a new fund being set it up. They're doing a crowdfunding, and from there you can go for it.
Exactly. So like for a longer term investment, of course, we can see the stability. And any other question? Yes?
I think this volatility question is a very acute question. Very well said from the experts' words. But as we can see here that ACCA, CPA, the accounting institutes, the chartered accountant institutions are there. And this question is every time on the platform. And those accounting bodies, international accounting bodies, as that cryptocurrencies are being used in the corporates and the business, some guidelines have already been issued. But as the time the government will come, certainly, but there are the institutions which are issuing the international accounting standards. Very soon those accounting standards will come in place. The demand and supply equation of economics will remain. We can't change that. But the sharp volatility, what we are seeing, that suddenly in times it goes up and suddenly in times it goes down, that somewhere we are trying, the institutions are trying to monitor, and through the ways of valuation of that, how to record that transaction, how to keep the reserve in the balance sheet. So once it is rooted through the valuations of the balance sheet, it will give some monitoring aspects in that volatility.
So even if you take a look at some of the American finance advisors and articles that are coming out, the expectations for the cryptocurrency to grow in the coming 2 years is very high. It's going through a winter right now, but the future is very huge for it.
Very well said.
Well, thank you so much for, he's asking for a last question, okay. Okay, few more questions.
You ask first.
Recently, I came across about the article that Walmart in Canada has implemented the blockchain technology in order to monitor their operations for S&D and all the e-commerce operations and bring the value to improve their customer satisfaction. Customers means both vendors and the real customer side. So my question over here is with Mr. Khalifa and also Mr. Satya, because he's from the retail and he can put some light on it. Whether is any future, we looking here, we do discuss about the finance, but about the process optimization. Are we going to use this decentralized technology, or these distributed ledgers to improve our operations, to bring value to the business and also improve the customer satisfaction?
I just need to bring one more question. We'll combine it in the interest of time.
Thank you. Legal and illegal both depends on the perspective of the government. So a cryptocurrency is giving the more independence over the wealth of a person. So what is the interest for the government on this cryptocurrency if the independence is higher to transfer my wealth to one place to another place without knowing the government? So what is the interest for them? So why will they allow this cryptocurrency thoroughly interchangeable to the companies and other economics?
See the beauty of audience. Both the two questions are the two sides of the river. One side, the gentleman is asking how this blockchain technology, moving from finance and digital currencies, how it can be used in the, as we are using the word ledgers, whether this ledger can be used as a stock ledger in future. So that technology, can it optimize the processes in a business, like ERP as a transformation of digital transformation we were listening a session before. So whether it can be used in that, this is what the question, right? It has already been started. This blockchain technology is already started in the logistics. In fact, it initiated from logistics and then it came to the cryptocurrencies. So in the logistics, we have the barcode system where the nomenclature is there. On that basis, there are the HS code where the tariffs of excise and customs are set. So the origination, it started from there, but it moved to finance. Now it is back to the logistics and blockchain related, where Professor Adil Martin is one of the founding director of a university which will be taking the courses in that regard, where the blockchain related, how not only just currency, how in the processes of business can be optimized. So that was something related to me and with my passion, so I could answer, but the majority part, the legalization and the other aspects, of course, goes to my co-speaker.
With your permission, I would like to answer the first question and then I'll come to you because yours is a little bit more complex. I need to give it more time for that. I definitely agree. We are there. The blockchain is being used in different industries. If we take the, how can I say, if we take the finance industry, subrogation in the old school between companies, exchanging files and everything, there was a lot of problems, there was a lot of things. A solution came out through the blockchain itself, and it's not a reinvention of the wheel, but it's just repositioning of it. Today we see that one of the companies which I recollect over here, and I had the privilege to work with the two young men to establish it over here in UAE, is called Adentia. Adentia started with 7 companies, and one of the major clients were AXA Insurance and ADNOC, which they used the blockchain in order to do subrogations, exchange of files, the securities. Today, government of Dubai, or government of UAE, is using blockchain for IDs, for verification of IDs, the police, the authorities, or the monitors, where they need to verify a document that it's gone through blockchain. Coming back to the logistics itself, Jabal Ali, Javza, Davza, they are one of the biggest users of this. And there are a lot of companies right now also, they started using the big logistic companies. DHL, we see that we are using that for their stock. They took the conventional finance and they just adapted to the blockchain itself. Blockchain is a bridge where you can transfer safely the information from point A to point B, where point B can trust this information that has come from point A. How you design it, how you structure it, this is where the value on the blockchain that's come. For the Walmart, they have just, how can I say, instead of using their warehousing programs, the CRM programs and everything, they combine it in one thing, so this gives a complete information that they require and the result that they would like to take.
Sorry, Mr. Khalifa, I have to intervene in between. We are running short of time, as this is also a virtual conference going on and thousands of people are watching us. So thank you so much for this lovely session. Over to you.